Welcome to Lead with AC episode 3. Today we're talking about the power of our why. Have you ever wondered why some people seem to have a lot of meaning and purpose behind their doing? What motivates them? What drives them in order to grow and thrive and in order to keep going? It is the power of their why. So I'm really excited that you joined me today because for some of us, this could be a life-changing conversation. It will lead us to live more meaningful lives because we've come to a place of understanding why we do what we do. But before we get into our conversation, I want to encourage you to go ahead and subscribe. I also want to encourage you to like this or to share it on social media and maybe even to invite a friend. I would love for you to comment in the comment section and I will respond to you as well because we are better in community. If you're looking for a group of people to grow together, talking about community, then I want to invite you to consider joining our leadership cohort that is launching in March. You could go to leadwithac.com/lead-together for more information. The cohort meets for 8 months with a 2-month summer break. We're going to be meeting on Monday nights. And it's for people that are interested in growing in their leadership and being held accountable with other people that are really trying to become who they've been called, all that they've been called to be. Again, you could go to leadwithac.com/lead-together. In our last episode, we talked about having a vision for our lives, how to build it, and why it is important to deal with our past so that we can thrive in the future. Today, I want to talk to us about our why. And our why is vital for us feeling like our doing matters. Our why will guide our vision for our lives because our why become the motivating factors that push us to accomplish the vision we have for our lives. Our why clarifies what we need to do, and it brings clarity to the reasons we do it. Without knowing our whys, we rob ourselves from actually feeling like what we do matters. For a long time, and sometimes still, if I'm honest, I've battled with the question of why do I do anything at all? Or why do people do anything at all? What makes some people get up in the morning and make the best of their day, while other of us just kind of struggle through it like a ship without direction, without knowing why we're doing what we're doing, why we do anything at all? What makes some people feel like they have purpose and meaning in life while others feel like they have no idea the value of their life? Where they don't even know what they do matters. I know that the answers to these questions can be multifaceted. We can have different responses for any of these questions. Some people might say that the reason we get up in the morning and we do what we do is that we evolved. And we evolved for survival. So we do what we do. We get up in the morning and work and go do things because we need to eat. And that might be a sad reason to say that there's no real meaning behind our doing, that all we do is just to eat and survive. But that's an answer for some people. Others will come to a place and say that, I do what I do because I want to be admirable. I want people to honor me. I want people to recognize how great I am. I want to stand out in front of everyone, stand tall and say, look at how great I am. Or maybe they do it in order not to bring shame to their community, in order to allow the community to thrive because they don't want to be the one who shames the community or the family that they belong to. We could also say that maybe some people do what they do because they're actually trying to find meaning in life. They're trying to discover what it is that drives them, what it is that will give them some purpose. And they wake up in the morning saying, maybe if I do this today, maybe I will find meaning in life. Maybe I will feel like I matter. Maybe I will feel valuable. And being honest here, one of my own personal battles in leadership has been my lack of feeling like what I do matters. Have you ever felt that way? Let me know in the comment section. I've battled personally with feeling like what I did was wasted effort. I've had a battle against meaninglessness. I'm sure some of it emerges from childhood trauma, from growing up feeling like I didn't really matter, from some of my negative childhood experiences. And I'm sure some of it emerges from words that people have spoken to me and that hurt me, causing deep wounds inside of me that affected how I see myself, the value that I have as a person, and what I can actually do in life. Words that I took in personally as true about myself. Words that I then use to label myself with. And I'm also sure that some of the battle against meaninglessness has been the words that I've spoken over myself. Words like, who do you think you are? What makes you so special? Why do you think people are going to listen to you? What you do doesn't matter. They don't really care about what you have to say. They're just pretending to care. They're just being nice. And now, all of those words that I just said, I know they're not true. And the statement that I said, they're not true either. But when you're hurt, they feel like reality. They feel like the only truth that matters. And when you hurt, you're afraid to let go of the hurt because you don't know what will replace it. The pain is familiar while the future is unknown. And the familiar I can deal with, or at least I think I can deal with. But the unknown, let's be honest, the unknown sometimes feels like so much. The fear of failing, of not measuring up, of not knowing what's going to come out and happen in our life and how we're going to be able to deal, of not knowing if we're going to get the results that we want, or what the fear of what will replace the pain I feel. Sometimes that can feel so much. It can feel like so much weight on our shoulders. And this is why dealing with our past is so important, and why if we don't deal with the past, we can't thrive in the future. If we don't deal with our past, we will end up sabotaging ourselves. We will end up waiting for the moments, just setting ourselves up for the fall. We're just waiting for that moment where it all falls apart. Setting ourselves up for failure, acting in ways that will guarantee that we fail. We set ourselves up to fail. We become self-fulfilling prophecies because what we expect, we then tend to set ourselves to walk towards to unconsciously. We tend to guide ourselves towards what we expect so that we aren't surprised by the results. So that at the end of it, we could say, I told you so. I told you it wasn't going to work out. I did it, but what was the point of it? I knew it wasn't going to end well. Now, if you recognize that you have things in your past that you have to deal with so that you could thrive, that's a really good thing. Way to go. You aren't alone. I'm on the same journey as you. I'm still dealing with my past. I recognize that I'm still discovering false narratives that I've built and tell myself because of what's happened to me, because of my pain. The important part is that in recognizing it, we can then start healing it. But if we don't recognize it, what we are doing is unconsciously setting ourselves up for failure. Because hurt blinds us and leads us to unconsciously create negative protective mechanisms that keep us from thriving. And it takes us becoming self-aware of the defense mechanism, becoming self-aware of how we're defending ourselves in ways that lead us to defeat ourselves. And when we become self-aware of our defense mechanisms, of the words and statements that we speak to ourselves, when we recognize them, then we are able to unmask them, call out the lies in them, so that we can stop them and change the way that we talk and think about ourselves. We can even then place ourselves on a different path. We change the way that we think about ourselves by speaking to ourselves new truths. Now, I'm a Christian, Actually, I'm a pastor. And I believe that God made each person in his image. What that means is that each individual, each human being has tremendous worth. Each person has value. God created every single person with value. He made us to love and be loved. He made us to know and be loved. And we even come to discover that when we serve one another out of love, we discover life, meaning. He made us, each of us, uniquely so that we can each contribute to each other in our own unique way. And that truth that God made us in his image helps me come to see that we matter, that I matter, that our lives have value, and that what we do matters when we do it for one another. And if our lives have value, then they also have purpose and meaning. When we see that our lives have value, purpose, and meaning, we can start to emerge out of our caves of pain into a world that needs what each of us can uniquely give to it. I said all of this just in case, like me, you battle against meaninglessness. And my desire is to see you thriving and living life with meaning. And when we know we matter, we live lives that matter, and we live like it matters. Seeing that we matter, that other matters, and that what we do matters, then leads us to start discovering and shaping our whys. Our whys are reason for why we do what we do. Our whys are motivations for our doing. And therefore, they help us to build and carry our vision forward. And our whys are what help us to endure through hard times as well. So right now I want to mention a few things that knowing our whys will do for us. Number one, our whys drive our passions. Nothing great has ever been accomplished without passion. You have to be passionate to accomplish great things. You have to believe in it and give yourself to it. Passion inspires people, and our why drives our passion. And when you know why you're doing things, your doing takes on new meaning, because there is something that you are trying to do through your actions. There is a greater thing that you're trying to accomplish that drives you towards the finish line. When you know why you do things, you find it fuels your passion, and you become even more passionate. Here's another thing our whys do for us. Number two, our whys guide our how. They guide our methods, how we do things. For example, if you know that what you desire to do is to help people to get connected to one another because you believe inside of you that we are better in community, then you're going to look for ways to connect people to one another. You're going to create opportunities for people to find space where they could meet and bond together. You'll create strategies that move people from isolation into relationships, into places of community. You will look for ways that will answer the question of, how do I connect people to one another? It will be your why guiding you all along. Your why will guide your methods. Your why is bringing clarity to what you need to do and bringing focus to how you should do it. And when your why is clear, it allows you to say no to good things so that you can say yes to the greater things that will accomplish what you desire to do. A clear why will keep you from being distracted by things that will not add value to what you desire to accomplish. Knowing our why will drive our how. Here's another thing our whys do. Number three, our whys help us to create life-giving environments that people want to be in. How so? First, going back, because passion is attractive. People are attracted to passion, to people who are passionate. We believe that passion stems from belief. When he's passionate about something, it's because he believes in that. And we're attracted to that. We're attracted to people that we can relate to and to people that feel like they've discovered their purpose in life. Passion is contagious and it attracts people. And if we're passionate and our methods are being driven by our whys, then we will end up naturally producing life-giving environments that people want to be in. They will want to be in because when they're with you or interacting with you, they can sense a different kind of meaning and purpose behind your doing. They can sense something greater for why you do what you do. As a leader, you will strive to create life-giving environments because you understand that in order to accomplish the vision, it needs to be us that do it, not me who does it. And people aren't stupid either. They can feel whether or not you are being sincere with them. They can sense if you're being truthful with them when you speak to them. They can feel what's behind your actions. And eventually, they will come to discover your motives and your why. And they will react accordingly. If they discover that we are for them, they will be for us. If they discover that we want more for them than what we want from them, then they will want to stay and journey with us. But if they sense that what we want to do is take more from them than what we have for them, then soon our interactions will become transactional. They become interactions that only happen if what they can get from us is greater than what we can take from them. People can see what's behind our actions. And all of us is like individuals that reach out to us and ask us, hey man, how you doing? How you been? And then quickly move to a sales pitch. When that happens to us, we feel used rather than blessed. And we all want to feel blessed rather than used. A clear why, a why that people can send through our words and actions, will lead us to create life-giving environments where people can thrive and grow. Now, if you're a business owner, you might think this is a joke, that whys don't pay bills. You need to make money. And yes, you're right. Whys don't pay bills. But what whys do is give meaning to your product. People can come to see what it is that you desire for them through your products. And if people know your why, then your product is more attractive for them to buy, and therefore more likely to be bought. Plus, if your employees, if you are someone that has employees, know the why, and your methods translate to how you treat them, they will be more motivated to work for you and to work together to accomplish great things. Now, if you're wondering, how do I discover my why? We've been talking about the why, but how do I discover it, or how do I build a why, my life on whys that truly matter? On the next episode, I will provide us with a way to ladder up to our greatest why, to our greatest motivating factors, to discover how we can achieve or arrive at our greatest reason to why we do what we do. But for now, I just want to keep sharing a little bit more about why it's important and how it benefits us. Because if we see the importance of our whys to our lives and leadership, we will seek to build our whys, or to discover our greatest motivating factors for everything we do. Our whys will help us to give meaning to our actions in every single area of our life. So far, we've seen that our why drives our passion, guides our how, and help us to create life-giving environments that people want to be in. Here's another thing our whys do. Number 4, our why inspires people to come on the journey with us. If our whys are compelling enough, people will come to see that their whys fit within our why, and that together we can have a greater impact. I hinted at this above when I mentioned that if you're someone with employees, your employees will be more motivated to join you on the journey that you're in if they know your why. One of the things that I've learned from leading at a church is what happens when people relate to the why of their organization. And what I've seen is that when people know the why and they're inspired by it, it leads their organization to grow and thrive. When people see the why of the church and how their personal whys fit into the why of the church, it leads them to journey together, knowing that together they will have a greater impact for the good of their communities. If you know the reasons you do things and you have laddered up to the greatest reason behind your doing, then your whys become inspirational to other people. And they can see how their motivations match yours as well, how they work together, and even how their whys could expand your why so that you could accomplish greater things together. Now, there are more things that I could actually say about our whys and the power of our whys. But I think that these 4 reasons that I gave us should provide us enough for us to see the importance of our whys to our lives and leadership. If you want more reasons of the power of our whys, if you go to leadwithac.com and click on the episode transcript blog tab, you will find 4 more reasons for why our whys matter and what they help us do. On the next episode, like I said, we'll talk about how do we discover our why and how do we ladder up to our greatest reason. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't. And if you found this helpful, go ahead and leave me a comment about what you really took away from this, and maybe even share it to a friend that you know will benefit from this. Until the next time, AC out.